What's up, family? I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Often I do when I'm researching things. I it's like in the moment I'm always like, man, I got something to say. Like I could say something that it could possibly help some people, and I should do a video. And then you look up and I might not do the video. Then another day goes by and I see something else. It's like, wow, I got a thought. I sure would love to share this thought. And lately, uh, to put it this way, things I pay attention to these days are about survival and how often it's always been about how will you be able to survive if they call it SHTF, if crap hits the fan situation. Like you got no electricity, you got no water running, you can't flush your toilet. Um, did I say electricity already? So, anyways, I have been noticing lately a lot of people talking about losing their jobs and then not being able to find jobs, and people that have, you know, general consensus is a lot of people today, the younger generations, they've just lost hope about their future of living the American dream. A house with a picket fence and two cars in the garage, and a family and a dog. And they seem like they're losing hope. And a lot of them they call it rants, and they're ranting about just hating having to work and have no money in their pocket and can't afford things because of inflation and everything's so high, and it's just hitting everyone, and they can't control it. The Back to this job thing. It seems like a lot of layoffs keep happening, and then all right, let's say why. What I see, and I come from a computer background. That was my profession before I became a cowboy and living like a wild man. You got this thing, man, that's on the rise, and it's called AI, artificial intelligence, and it's taking out jobs, a lot of jobs, and it's only getting better, and it's getting more intelligent. And just to stay with that one alone, I heard something recently, and they said 15 years. In 15 years, they say this place is going to be unrecognizable, at least when you're talking about the job market. And regardless of why and what's the plan and the end game, it's here. It's here. And that is one thing that I know for a fact is taking out a lot of jobs, because they don't need the human interaction anymore, the human component anymore. You got AI. I started a business and ran a business independently for 18 years. So I have a understanding of what it's like to be on that side of the fence, a business owner. And I've hired a lot of people throughout 18 years, went through a lot of experiences that when I was an employee, there's no way you could have even if you taught it to me in a class with a book and an instructor, most of it would have gone in one ear and out the other because I would not have had the experience of being a business owner. So I hear a lot of these people, I think especially in the area of people complaining and ranting about not liking their jobs and losing hope, and they go to talk about corporate America doesn't care about us and all this and that. Well, just factually, when I started my business, first of all, I'll be honest, I did not start my business to say, I want to have the best IT company in the world, and I want it to be the number one, and I want to outdo all the others, and I want to have $100 million in the bank. Wasn't my deal. I just started doing business, went looking for customers, and just things grew, and I evolved within my career field. And I have understanding of how an owner of a company can think compared to an employee, because I would have been both. And when I started my company, I wasn't starting my company to make my subcontractors wealthy and rich. I was doing that for me. And when I was doing everything by myself to start, the late nights, working a full-time job and building my business, and sleepless nights and stressful days and nights, and I was not thinking about America. I'll say this briefly. There was a time I got a phone call from India, and they were like, yo, we could do this work for you for like $15 an hour. And I was paying people $35. Well, what? 15? I actually bucked up, but that made me aware of why large corporations will pack up and leave America and outsource that work to another country, because they went into business to be successful. And they did not start their business to say, I am doing this for America. They were doing it for themselves. So when people go to say, oh, corporate America doesn't care about us, does the neighbor really care about you? If you can't pay your bills and sorry, I can't, let you use my lawnmower right now, it's like, that's just one way of looking at it. Well, that's the ranting side. Well, I could say what concerns me and what I keep paying attention to, because as I think about what I see others going through, I think about my family and my children and their future, and what can they expect to experience in the next 10, 15 years, as well as others. What could I say to them, and what plan of attack would I, do, and things like that. So, again, what I'm seeing is a lot of people are losing their jobs, on top of the fact that it's hard for a lot of people to make it right now. We don't know everybody. And I am seeing more clearly now that this internet has divided a lot of us. Case in point, I got a cousin, and I noticed lately, we already don't talk, maybe once every a year, if that. But every day he hits me with an attachment of some funny thing on YouTube, short, whatever, on the Facebook Messenger. And I thought about it one day, man, that's something, he'll hit me with that. It's like, why wouldn't he just pick up the phone and call, and, hey man, what's up, man? Well, just a quick holler for 2 minutes, And it's funny how I don't do it. But it's funny how it's so easy to do that. Digital text, a quick holla, ha ha ha. But that was another one. They're talking about the psyche. So a lot of people talk about the little kids in that generation. I don't know all the names of them generations, but that generation, let's say these toddlers and these, toddlers and younger, they're being just like we did with my daughter. being plopped down in front of a digital tablet with a little baby show, and they're saying how it's warping the mind to a degree where we're not meant to be like that. We're meant to be social creatures, and that is creating a big divide. Okay, so why did I even say all of that? The internet, the computer. Okay, so back to the jobs. Um, yeah, 15 years, man. They're saying 15 years. It may not get any better. I know a lot of people like myself that are adults that are working and provided knows what it's like to have to pay these bills, provide for their family and their children and everything that goes with it, and a household, and get out there and go make money. And a lot of people are like, Lord have mercy, we need Trump back. At the same time, the minute that man gets right back in the office, it's not like the light switch is just going to get flipped and all of a sudden gas going to be $2. That doesn't mean that, the inflation is just going to turn around and all of a sudden they're going to say, oh, guess what? Trump's in office. And now your $2,000 rent, not mortgage, rent is, for those of you that are renting, it's not 2,000 anymore. The economy is great. We're just going to drop that down to, 1,100 like it used to be probably 2 years ago. So, and who's to say that, again, with AI, and here's number two, immigration. Now, I'm seeing countries now shutting their borders. Like Germany just did it. Some couple other people, have just now today say, okay, boom, turn it off. The border's actually closed, and they're actually starting to deport a lot of people. They ain't did it yet in America, and we all know that they could do it. Regardless of the real reason behind it, why they did that. Leave that there. Let's just look at what it has done in the job arena. They're not talking about it, but I saw one thing I was researching. They said that millions of jobs have been taken up by these migrants. And what do you think that's doing to the people that are looking for jobs? Housing, that's another one. I know I'm getting off on the job deal, but housing, that Springfield deal, that's only one that everybody's talking about. They say they got other little towns. I just heard about one in Alabama. I say, oh Lord, don't tell me they dropping off a bunch of dark-skinned people in Alabama. Anyways, in Alabama, a little smaller town than Springfield, is happening. Well, people are landlords are telling people, okay, you got 30 days, you gotta go. We gotta do some renovations. But then they're turning around and marking up the rent and giving it to the migrants because the migrants getting a check that can afford the deal. So you got that whole housing thing too. So back to the jobs. AI is taking people out, and it's gaining a lot of momentum. It's only going to get better and better, and going to get better faster and faster, which means more jobs going to get lost. So there's one. Let's flip the script and say, like I told some students when I was teaching telecommunications, I told them, I said, look, man, this is a good trade to get into. Learn this wires, because AI robots is not going to replace you anytime soon in this field alone. So that's one thing, people. Oh, she playing with her baby. Oh. So that's one thing. That's one thing to think about. Okay, if especially for, like, I was thinking about my nephews that are in college, and I see that a lot too, man. A lot of these young kids are getting out of college with multiple degrees and cannot find a job, and they can't even find goddamn waitress jobs with degrees. And I know that's not everybody. I know that's not the case. Looks like it's happening a lot more, and it's happening faster. So yeah, AI, the migrants, and you know, being an owner and experiencing that. If times are tight and you can't afford to pay somebody else, man, you're not making ends meet. You can't pay them, and that leads into dependency. That was one I wanted to share with, man. A thought I realized, because like today, I tell y'all a joke. I live like a wild man. I literally live like a wild man, man. Like, I sleep outside often, and I love it. It's just that my life has changed, and I did not plan this, and did not know what I was getting involved when I, quit my business and went and bought a farm. And I did not know what I was gonna get into when it comes to what I know now after 5 years. But yet it's been a wonderful experience and eye-opening. It's changed my way I think, because I had to provide my own water. I had to provide my own electricity. I started out on a generator. I was living out of an ice chest. I was living out of an ice chest for 2 years. That was my refrigerator. Ask my daughter, ask my son. And it was cool. Life was very, very simple. Did we have all the amenities of a nice cushy house with all the AC blowing and the blinds to block the sun, and no flies in your house, or no bees flying through your living room, or no ants finding your crumbs at night? Hey, no, we didn't have that. But again, I can handle it. I'm a grunt. So all of y'all can handle it too, but who really wants to, especially the ladies. You got a lot of people, man, that are getting evicted left and right because they can't make it. And also they say the jobs that are out there and being offered, they're not offering big money. I saw that coming in my career towards the end of my career. I noticed, like, they used to pay for certain gigs. They used to pay like $75 an hour, easy. And then all of a sudden they talking about 35. It's like, what? It's like, but that was the writing on the wall where things were changing. And, a lot of people, it's becoming harder and harder and harder to make it. And this is one of the things that I realized that I would like to share, like, as a thought to help someone start deprogramming a mindset that you have had since birth. I had it, and I didn't realize it until I didn't have it. Ever since I was born, all I knew was that you can't see. You need to turn the light on. You need light in the house at night. Oh, click, flip a switch. I need water. Oh, go to the kitchen. Or if I felt like it, go in the bathroom and turn the faucet on and put your hand in that, and underneath that faucet, and drink some water. Turn the lever on the faucet, or twist the lever on the faucet, and the water comes out. Go to the bathroom and do your business, and flip that lever, and your waste disappears. It's hot in the house. Let me go turn that dial right quick and readjust the entire temperature to comfort in my home. Trash, gas. Need gas. Pilot light might not be working on the stove. Get that kitchen match and burn that little piece of paper, and woof, let's get the stove started. That's gas. your trash. It is amazing if people knew how much one human, how much trash is created by human beings. Long story short, yeah, just take your trash outside, put it in the can, put the can on the curb on Wednesdays, and somebody gonna come out and pick that up for you. And then what do? We pay for that. Well, to pay for those services. Well, what I realized when I had to burn my own trash, when I had to do a composting toilet, when I had to provide my own water and provide my own electricity and make my own shelter to a degree, I realized that all my life, ever since I was born, I was taught to be dependent. Whoops, let's not talk about food. Food, yeah. How do you get food? Oh, growing up for me, we knew about growing plants in the backyard, and somebody had a little garden down the way, or I was following my grandfather or whatever. I had a little garden I did as a teenager. I grew some tomato plants and this and that. As a teenager, your attention span is so short. I wasn't doing that to provide for a family. I was or worry about the future. I was just doing that to do it. Well, food. All my life, I'm hungry. Where do I go get food? Oh, you go to the grocery store. Oh yeah, you want steak, you want pork chop, you want to eat pig, you want to eat cow, you want to eat chicken or fish. Oh yeah, just go to the grocery store. It's already prepackaged, killed, butchered, cut up, pre-packaged in plastic and little stuff, and you just go pick it up off the shelf. That's what you do, okay, to feed yourself. And nowadays, everything is really, really already prepared. The food is already pre-made in a lot of ways in fast food. Okay, so with all that I just listed, that I realized that life, you are dependent upon somebody else. You are dependent on somebody that provides that electricity to that house you bought, or the place you live in. Somebody else hauls away that trash and that sewage through pipes in the ground that was already laid out. We call it utilities, right? Somebody else provided that gas, gasoline in the cars. I'm still not out of the woods for that. We're all dependent on that, unless you know how to make, which some people learn how to do. You know how to make diesel, make gas. You're dependent. So I've been saying in a couple of comments, start becoming, attempting, do your best, because remember, you've been programmed in your mind all your life that this is what you do. This is what you do. This is how you live. Yeah, flip the switch, go to the store, and then, this is what you do. This is how you live. Well, it's probably hard for a lot of people to imagine giving up all of those comforts to, have to all of a sudden overnight go live in a car. Well, you could also, go that route before you have to. You may, a lot of people are choosing to do that and realizing they can save a whole bunch of money, because a lot of people, man, let me back up. This little girl was saying, y'all, I just lost my job. I don't know how I'm gonna make it. I got a job at Target, and that's, on part-time. And no, I don't even think she said it was part-time. She said, I got a job at Target, and that's not going to cut it, right? That's not gonna cut it. She don't know what needs to do. And she said, I need to make $4,000 a month. And I said, Lord have mercy, that's a lot of money. But then it dawned on me, man, we call it monthly nut. My monthly bill was $8,000 when I was raising a family. And thank God, my business was able to provide that. In hindsight, oh man, I would have did so much more with all that money I made, man, back in the day. But hey, it is what it is, right? Well, dependency, man, comforts, man. And, when everything's groovy, it's groovy, because when it was groovy for me and I was making a whole bunch of money, I spent a bunch of money, you know, and you think about the future, but then I was thinking about, oh, I'm making this much now, and my little girl making that much now. It's only gonna be better. We gonna, man, in 5 years we could be making this much, and we could have that much. But that's not how things happen, and you cannot predict the future right now. I think I'm gonna close on this one, but times are changing, man. They're changing fast. And, yeah, God is real and I believe in God and God gonna make everything all right. At the same time, God also says somewhere in the Bible about, preparing, and being stocked up for the future and through challenging and hard times. And, everybody, my daddy told me this one. He said, hey, man, rich people follow rich people, poor people follow rich people. And what he was following up with that was saying that, like, poor people are taught to believe that this is what you do. Oh yeah, you go to college and you go stay on campus, and then you stay out there, go sow your wild oats, and then you go get your own place. You leave home, you spread your wings. He said, but poor people really can't afford to do that, but yet we go get into debt like a mofo to go do that. I'm not saying nothing wrong with education. I love education. Long story short, look at how it is now, man. I hardly ever hear anybody talking about mortgages anymore. Everybody's talking about rent. I could go on a tangent about that because they buying up everything left and right that in the housing market so they can rent it back to people. And look at the price of house people, it's hard to be able to afford it. Long story short, dependency, man. I had to get out of the matrix. I detached from the matrix, and I use that term, but I see it how it is for me. Like, my life has totally changed, man. Like, I talked to like three people, a couple on Facebook, of course, but like in any given day, there might be 2-3 people most I might holler at, and that ain't even always a phone call. But I hardly ever look at my cell phone anymore. But the thing is, it detached me from the matrix and it woke me up to, like, yo, water, food, and shelter. That's your basics to sustain life. Can you get around without a cell phone these days? So, you might want to throw electricity in there. At the same time, that is the basics for the start with life, man. And I don't know, man. I guess just, pay attention to this, what's starting to happen, and start thinking about your family and your younger ones that's coming up, about to get out here, in the work world and things like that. And can't keep doing it, man. I'm like, you could, I might not know what the heck I'm talking about. And things could all of a sudden, eventually start getting just tremendous and great, and things will go back how they used to be. But let's just say they might not. And if they don't, then we can't keep going at things the way we've always done it. So I will say this. They said, and it was a deal I was involved with, and I heard them spit some stats, and I paid attention to that. And they said that, like, before the Great Depression, 90 plus, like 96, 97% of the people in the United States owned their own businesses. Everybody was independent. And only 3% or 4 or 5, whatever, worked for the other 97%, right? Well, the Great Depression happened, and then they said, look, parents taught their kids, look, don't do like us. Go to school, get a college degree, get a good education, go get a job, work 30 years, retire, get a pension for the rest of your life. That was the play. Well, right now, that ain't happening no more. Nobody don't give pensions no more unless you're in the government, in the military or something. So, and anybody talking about a 401k, they used to get 401k with the pension. So they did away with pension and like, oh, 401k, man, that's just the stock market. I mean, it did good for a lot of people. I just never played with it. Anyways, can you retire off of that? I know some people that are smart and know how to work them numbers, but let's just say it wasn't my deal. Long story short, that mentality it's going, and I see it coming because I see these youth now. They're saying, "Hey, um, I don't want to do this 9 to 5 no more. This is a slave mentality. This I'm not with that, and I got to figure something out." And you know that the brain is capable of figuring things out, and that's they say that next generation coming up, maybe it's two behind me. That's gonna be the ones that's gonna fix things when they get older. Looking to the fourth turning. Anyways, yeah, man. So these youth coming up, man, we can't put them in the same system. I wouldn't. Don't advise them to get in the same system that we have been taught by our parents and by their parents, which is this is what you do. You go get a job. And today, goddamn, you go to college for 4 years and go get into all that debt, and then you getting out, and and you still got to start at the bottom to crawl your way up. I know they got ways that I would do it, internships and stuff, because everybody is saying experience. So I know I'm going kind of long, but yeah, that's been on my mind lately because I've been researching and paying attention to a lot of these hardships that's happening to a lot of people out there. And you know if you're not educated in your mind to see it for what it is, because I'm not the smartest person. I just happen to have had my mind expanded to the realities of, what it takes to live. And then I can look at the city and where I came from, suburbia, and I see how everybody's living now compared to how I am. And now that things are getting more and more challenging, those people don't have the experiences I have now. And so they can't see. And, I can imagine what it's like for people. Now, I promise I'm going to be quiet. I can imagine what it's like for people like that. That person over there has that. How did they get that? I want that, but they don't have the ineptitude, the knowledge in their head. They don't know how to go get it, and that's where I love education. So God bless y'all. I always laugh that I'll never ask nobody subscribe to my video and all of that stuff. I don't even know how to monetize this thing, but yeah, I don't know if this is, maybe I should do a shorter version. But yeah, share this if you want to some people that are challenging. Share it with anybody and everybody, man. And whoever grab a little something, they grab a little something. But yeah, I think it's different. It's been time for a long time, but now it's just starting to get like redonkulous out there. Yeah, the same old mentality. That's not where it's at. I've always I promise me, be quiet. I've always been a big fan. I've always been a big fan of trade schools. Trades work. Something that's tangible that is not being replaced by a robot. Your auto mechanic, a plumber, AC guy, carpenter, that something like that was always my thing. Mainly because I didn't want to go to school for 4 years. I say, man, give me 2 years, and I get to learn what I am going to learn about. I don't need to be dealing with no math and English and history and all that. 2 years, give me my piece of paper, in and out, and then go get a gig. So, yeah, God bless y'all, man, and keep your oh Jesus, yeah, keep your head on the swivel, because scams and all kind of stuff is getting crazy, boy. A lot of people just getting buck wild out there. All right, God bless y'all, and stock up on extra food, man. God bless y'all.